Okay, we've got Tom Lockett here. He came, was top 30,
32.
yeah, top 32 at the UK Nationals. He also had a round 9 feature match you can check out as well. So, tell us what you were playing today.
I played Subterror.
Alright.
Guru Control.
How did you find it today?
It was okay. I think I got quite lucky in my matchups. Didn't face any of the Thunder decks or Orcus decks until the top cut. Did win against the one Danger Thunder that I did face. The rest of it was, it kind of depends on the matchup and die roll and so on. It's very much depends on the matchup. There's Starman Great I've had a lot of practice against, and I've played against a lot of that deck. Sky Strikers is a weird one. I only won one, lost one against that. Everything else was a lot of rogue stuff. There's Trick Stars.
You've got a lot of practice against Draco, don't you?
I have a lot of practice against Draco. I did play against Draco, Paleo, and Pendulums. So it was a bit of a variety, but not some of the top decks. So it was interesting.
Okay. So do you want to show us what you were playing today?
Sure. So start with the obvious ones. Gurus, Fiendess, one Archer. I didn't play Umastrix because in a lot of my test games and practice games, I found that you draw it a lot when you don't need it. And usually, if your opponent has something that's hard to get around, either final battle with this will get around it. If not, then you can flip it down with this, shuffle it away with this. This is usually a better answer to most cards anyway, unless they can't be targeted. Because if you're going for Umastrix, you have to also have this. Flip this down, special the Umastrix, flip it with Hidden City. A lot more long-winded than just normal summoning this. Umastrix does let you push a bit harder because it has the high attack with the final battle, but ultimately by that time of the game you should already have control.
So you're happy that you didn't play it, you wouldn't put it back in?
Yeah, I don't think there were any situations where I was like, man, I really wish I had Umastrix at this point.
So you're happy with your Subterror lineup?
Yeah, I think that's all you need for monsters. I think the monsters were hand traps, 3 Ashes and 1 Ogre. The Ogre was the 40th card. I wanted a hand trap that was good against some of the more rogue matchups. It's better against Draco and stuff like Vela, Impermanence, DD Crow, that kind of thing. And it's good against in situations against a lot of the other decks as well, like Salamangreats. If they open Gazelle, summon it and use its effect, you don't have a follow-up, this ends their turn. Same thing for Lady Debug. It's okay against Thunder Dragons, but not too great. If you can Ogre the Guard Dragons, then they lose their zone to summon a monster too.
Yeah.
Unless they have 3 of them on board. So it didn't come up a lot, but it was kind of useful when it did. Not sure what I would have played instead, as I say, it was the 40th card. Yeah, not much more to say about it really. Spells, again, no surprises. I need to explain that. Also played one Subterror Cave Clash. Comes in useful at the moment in the meta. There's a lot of control decks around. This is a lot stronger in the control matchups than other matchups because you get to keep on getting your resources back, especially with decks playing Twin Twisters in the main. To beat Mystic Mine, they often get rid of your back rows, your final battles. This gets them back. It's also useful against Salamangreat because if you open Guru and a way to get another Subterror card in the field, you just activate this. Just keeping the monsters down. They can't do anything. They really need a face-up monster. If you burn a normal summon, they often just have to pass. I haven't been playing this until recently, but it was pretty good. I'm glad I played it. So, more obvious stuff. 2 Jaratis. I don't think playing 3 when you're playing Super Poly is a good idea. You often end up with hands where you draw both of them and you kind of want to cry. It's not terrible, but you can always just set the Super Volley, but you really want to play it that turn. You want to get it down right then. So, formation Super Polys. Because of the lack of Orcus and Danger Thunder decks that I played in the main event in the Swiss, I didn't actually resolve this successfully in the Swiss part of the event. I hardly ever saw it. The one time I did see it and tried to play it was on the feature match, which was an illegal activation. So it was a bit awkward, but it did win me my my top 64 game, drawing it in games 2 and 3. So I don't.
What were you against then?
That was against Thunder. To be fair, he didn't open that well in game 3, but this was still getting past 2 Colossuses is always useful. I don't think I would have not played it just because I didn't see it. It's like you can't. Yeah. You didn't see it, you can't say whether it was bad or good. And the games when I did see it and it was relevant, it was useful. Even in the feature match when I misplayed with it, it meant that my opponent had to play awkwardly because they knew it was there. Basically, gave me room to breathe. Played 3 Cold Weather Graves. There's not a huge number of hand traps going around right now, with the exception of Salamangreat decks. But this is still really useful against Orcust to banish their Dingisig when they try to activate a Symbol Skeleton. Didn't really come up in that particular scenario, but the fact that it was useful against other hand traps and you can chain it to things like it's good against Sky Striker as well, you banish the Ray. It's semi-useful against Thunder if you go first. I still think it's a good card and I think it's worth playing at the moment, especially when you're playing a defensive deck and when you do need to sometimes play through Ash and Veiler. So traps. I played 2 Final Battle. I don't think you really need any more, especially not when you're playing Cave Clash as well. Maybe if you're not playing Cave Clash, then you could excuse a 3rd, but with Cave Clash, I don't think you should need 1 or 2. You don't really want to see it that often because without a Subterror, it's dead. You'd rather see something like that can be only 1, which is useful when you don't have a Subterror. We've got Solomon Brigade. Went full in on this. It's a lot of people playing Twin Twisters in the main. This is really good. This is the only one that I'd probably consider cutting, but I think right now it's really good to play. You kind of expect this from a defensive deck. There's lots of Solemn cards. I played 3 copies of There Can Be Only One and 3 copies of Crackdown. This is excellent against almost every deck in the game at the moment. I don't think you can really not play 3 in this deck. This is good against most of the decks. There's some that it's not as good against as others, but even in those matchups you can sometimes play cards in your extra deck to help out with that a bit. Usually sided out 1 or 2 of this, especially going second. Either way, they are both really good cards. As I say, this won a lot of games.
Is there anything you change about the main deck?
I'd like to find a better card in than Ghost Ogre. Although it was, I don't think it was a bad choice per se, but I think that if I thought about it for longer, there could have been something more optimal to choose. Everything else was pretty good, I think. Pretty much everything apart from, as I mentioned, the Super Poly came up. If you wanted to make a change other than the Ghost Ogre, maybe take out a Crackdown, because it's not the best card at the moment. I'd rather take out something like Crackdown than that could be only 1, but it's still a good card to play. It actually won me a game against Trickstars, playing 3 of them to take all their Trickstar monsters. Yeah. That was a bit of a weird one.
Extra deck?
Extra deck. Yeah.
So that's just all Super Poly targets?
Well, almost. So we've got Super Poly targets. These for Salamangreat. This, I think, I played 3 for the Dark decks, 4 for the Salamangreats, because I think this matchup's more likely to go longer. So you're more likely to end up in a situation where you draw your second Super Poly, you want to play it, you've banished a couple of targets, you've used 1 already, you still want to have 1 left over. Whereas with the Dark decks, the games are over very quickly. You usually don't get a chance to place 2 Super Polys. So it's less important to play more copies of, so for example, you can play the Predator Plant monster, the one that uses Dark and Fusion.
Dragon's Calia.
Yeah. This just uses 2 side-based monsters. So you can make it against the Salamangreats, and if for some reason you face some rogue extra link deck or something like that, you can make this with Tri-Gate Wizard and Link Karibo or something.
Do you know what this is made with?
I do now, yes. Yeah. To be fair, in the feature match I could have summoned this if it wasn't banished face down, but yeah. As I say, it was my first time playing Super Poly in the event. You've got to give me a bit of slack.
You're on the feature as well,
it's embarrassing place to mess up like that. So 2 extra Super Poly targets. These are useful in some rogue matchups. This is good against Pendulums. Use Electromite and 2 monsters that they have, just any 2 monsters to summon it. And it's losing them 3 cards. It's excellent. It's basically a Solemn Warning in some ways.
That's quite fun.
This is useful in the mirror, and there are a couple of other matchups where sometimes you can summon this, and it's also got a really good effect. Especially in the mirror, if you protect Earth monsters against targeting, it's really hard to play. And we've also got the Crackdown targets.
Yes.
So this is against Orcust. You take the Gartea or Longiasu if they summon it, and you overlay for this, send the card to the graveyard, and you can attack. You don't have the restriction that it normally has on Crackdown. Obviously Sky Strikers. Unfortunately, I think it would have been a better idea to play Kana, because sometimes you want to take the Hayate, and you can't make Hayate with Hayate. I'd rather take the Hayate, stop them from making Kagari or Shizuku. but there was one game when that came up. I think there should have been either a Kano or perhaps one Kagari, one Shizuku or something like that, just to make sure that I can make something with it, rather than just have a dead monster sitting there, waiting for them to destroy my my crackdown. And then this for the Sunman Great matchup. It's not that great, but it at least gives you something that you can attack with, rather than just having like a Sunlight Wolf which just sat there doing nothing. You can summon this and also have the Sunlight Wolf from their graveyard. Kind of wish that I played a Super Pulsar target for the Sky Striker matchup, but I don't think the Super Pulsar is very impactful in that matchup, because the only thing I could really play is like Panzer Dragon. You make with their Sky Striker monster and with a Guru, because you've got a machine and a dragon.
Oh yeah.
But it's not that great of a card, and if you use one of their Sky Strikers to fuse with, they just summon right back from the graveyard, so you're not really achieving much in the long run.
So you usually side out Super Poly against?
Yeah, Super Poly was sided out against a lot of my games actually. Starman Great decks obviously stayed in. Most of the other games it ended up going out. Apart from Pendulums, stayed in for Pendulums.
Did you get to use the Crimsonite? Oh no, you said
unfortunately. I didn't see it against that matchup. I think most of the time in that matchup, if you're going to use it on the Electromite, obviously you have to go first, because if you go second, they will already have linked away the Electromite. In which case, you can still play the Super Poly for a for Sliding Ganon, because they usually have 2 darks on the field. Especially with the way the Serpent of Endymion decks go, because I believe in Master of Endymion is a dark monster.
Yeah.
So, side deck. This doesn't need explanation. It's one of the best side deck cards right now. This is for Orcus and Starman Great. It can also come up it can also be used against Sky Striker. My Sky Striker side deck in general is not that strong, so sometimes this went in against them to help out a little bit. This is primarily for Thunder Dragons, but also works against Sky Strikers, because the link monsters are with machines, and again I can link them away for Hayate. Against Thunder Dragons, this basically, against the standard board, this removes 3 of them, which is excellent. You take the Scarlight, you negate their other negate, and then you attack the Sphere. You've taken out 3 cards on their board. Unfortunately, a lot of other decks can make better use of this than Subterrors, because they can then link away the Scarlight, or the Abyss even, but I do not have anything to link it away to, so it's a little bit awkward. I kind of just have to give it them back. It didn't actually come up in the matchup though, because I only played against it once, and I didn't see Electric Virus in the matchup. Got another anti-Orcus card. I think the Orcus matchup is one of the weaker matchups for this deck, so it's good to play something like this that kind of just deals with everything. There's not really any card they can do that counters this apart from Orcus Crescendo. I guess you could play it against Sky Striker, but I don't think I would. It's not super important to banish all the Sky Striker from the graveyard. I played 3 evenly. This was for road matchups like Draco, and also it comes in against Orcus and Thunder Dragons. Usually against those decks they'll have a negate for it, but you at least blows past one of the negates. It's hard to judge often with something like Sky Striker, because often they make you go first, in which case this is not very useful to have. Also got 2 Heavy Stone Dusters for the... Oh sorry, that is not 2 Heavy Stone Dusters. 2 Heavy Stone Dusters and 1 Full House for the Sky Striker matchup. Unfortunately I never saw this. I don't think it's the greatest side deck option, I just put it in because I like it. Resolving this feels really good. It's also good against Draco. This is good against pretty much any rogue deck that's running around at the moment. There's a lot of back rows.
Is there any changes to the side?
I think I should have sided more that plays against Sky Strikers, and especially against Mystic Mine, because in one of my matches I had to scoop just because my opponent activated Mystic Mine, which you don't want to be doing. So some additional back row removal as well as this. This doesn't really beat Mystic Mine because they can just choose to keep the Mystic Mine, and because if they activate it you probably have monsters already, so you don't want that to be evenly matched. How exactly I would go about changing the side deck in that way, I don't know. Maybe take this out for something that is less situational, or substitute one of the Electric Viruses or one of the Crows. There's a bit of wiggle room. I think these are mandatory. This is
the Lanciers, yeah.
The Lancier is mandatory. It's good. It's excellent against Western Dragons and Orcus, which are one of the weakest matchups. Can maybe cut a Crow or Electric Virus or system down. I think that this is good because you do need something that beats Draco. This deck does not have a particularly great Draco matchup. It's not terrible, but I feel like it's better for the Draco player. But again, more backer removal would help with that anyway.
So anything else after today's event? Any other comments on the deck?
I'm glad I played it. I was originally thinking about playing Orcus, but I didn't have much practice with it, so I decided to go something that I was more familiar with. I'm glad that after having played Subterror since they were released, they finally became somewhat useful.
Well, thanks for that. Hopefully we can get another deck list off you when you top Euros as well in a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see, but I mean, I can try my best, but no promises.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Tom. Please comment below if you have any comments for him, what you thought of his deck lists. And just congratulate him on coming top 32 at UK Nats. Cheers, Tom.
Shh, not a zombie channel.